So, Denis Villeneuve's Dune, a story that people said for years was absolutely unfilmable. And now, it's a massive Oscar-winning franchise. After 2 huge films, his trilogy is heading toward its epic conclusion. So what can we possibly expect from Dune Part 3? Let's get right into it.
And you know the director himself is not pulling any punches. With a statement like that, Denis Villeneuve has set the bar about as high as it can possibly go. He's basically promising a finale that's going to try and top everything we've seen so far. So what is this final chapter even about?
Okay, so this time, we're actually moving beyond the first book. Part 3 is all about adapting Dune Messiah, which is the direct sequel, and it's the story that really finishes Paul Atreides' tragic arc. And if you thought the first story was intense, get ready. Messiah takes us into a much darker, more politically messy universe.
Right, so at the end of Part 2, Paul Atreides grabs the Imperial throne. But, just like he saw in his visions, that victory came with a terrible, terrible price. The galaxy we're about to jump back into isn't celebrating, it's at war.
The story leaps forward a staggering 12 years. Now, this is so important. We are not picking up where we left off. A whole decade of brutal galaxy-spanning war has passed, and it's completely changed not just Paul, but the entire universe he's trying to rule.
So, what happened in those 12 years? A holy war, a jihad that spread across the stars, all in Paul's name. And the cost was just catastrophic. Billions dead. All of it is a direct consequence of his rise to power. Paul isn't just a hero anymore. He's an emperor who is literally haunted by all the blood on his hands.
But even though Paul's power seems absolute, the old players in the universe haven't just been sitting around. Oh no, a massive conspiracy is brewing in the shadows, and it's bringing together some heavy hitters. The Bene Gesserit, the Spacing Guild, and the super mysterious Tleilaxu, all of them with just one goal: take down Emperor Paul Atreides.
So, let's talk about the incredible cast that's going to bring this whole complicated mess to life. We've got our familiar faces returning to this very dangerous new world, plus some seriously exciting new additions.
Timothée Chalamet is back as Paul, of course, but he's not the young kid we met back in Part 1. Not even close. He is now the Emperor of the known universe, a ruler completely weighed down by his own visions and the horrifying fallout from his own legend.
And right at the center of his court, you've got the 2 women who are so central to his life. Zendaya returns as Chani, but her relationship with Paul is now incredibly strained because of the Holy War. And Florence Pugh is back as Princess Irulan, his political wife, and a major player in all the Imperial drama.
And now for a huge new player in the game. It's been reported that Robert Pattinson is joining the cast as Scytale, a Tleilaxu face dancer. As a master of disguise, this character is right at the heart of the conspiracy against Paul, and that's going to add a whole new thrilling dynamic to the story.
Okay, now for one of the most shocking twists, which this slide lays out perfectly. Jason Momoa's Duncan Idaho is back. Yeah, you heard that right. He died a hero's death in Part 1, but the Tleilaxu have brought him back as a Ghola, basically a clone named Hayt. He's got Duncan's face and all his skills, but his true purpose? That's a total mystery, maybe even to himself.
The changes aren't just happening in front of the camera either. The creative team is also seeing a pretty significant shakeup, one that could totally change the look and feel of this final chapter.
Greg Fraser, the Oscar-winning cinematographer from the first 2 films, is stepping aside. And in his place, we've got Linus Sandgren, the guy who shot movies like La La Land and No Time to Die. And he'll be shooting on actual 65mm film, which is a huge change. Physical film just captures this grain and depth that feels more real, more raw, which seems like a perfect match for a story that's shifting from epic desert battles to the claustrophobic backstabbing of imperial politics.
So, with all this talent and such a dramatic story, the hype is obviously through the roof. But it's not totally universal. Let's take a look at the reactions, because they show both this intense excitement and some real skepticism.
On the hype side of things, you've got the star himself, Timothée Chalamet. He talks about his commitment to the role with this almost religious intensity, saying he treated every single moment as sacred. I mean, that really promises a performance that's going to go way beyond what we've already seen.
But then here's the other side of the coin. Some commentators, like Nerdrotic, have said that for them, the second film just didn't quite capture the magic of the first. After Part 2, they felt like their investment in the story was fading, and that's making them a little wary about this final movie.
So what's actually driving this skepticism?
Well, for some fans of the book, it comes down to the changes made in Part 2, like what happened with Dave Bautista's character Beast Raban. For others, it's something a little broader. Some online commentators have talked about what they call Zendaya fatigue, basically suggesting her expanded role in the movies has become a point of contention for them and questioning her place at the center of the franchise.
And this next quote, wow, it just perfectly captures the divide. One pretty sharp online comment described the amazing cast as 8 hydrogen bombs and 1 IED. It's harsh for sure, but it gives you a clear idea of just how polarized the whole discussion around the cast has become. All of this really leads to the big question, what does this film mean for the franchise as a whole? Is this actually the end of the line for our story on Arrakis?
Well, Denis Villeneuve has been super clear about this. For him, this is it. While Frank Herbert wrote a bunch more books, Villeneuve finds them increasingly, well, esoteric and really tricky to adapt. So Dune Messiah is set to be the final chapter of his Dune saga.
But even as Villeneuve's trilogy brings Paul's story to a close, the universe itself is absolutely vast. I mean, with prequels like the Dune Prophecy series already happening and so many books left to explore, it really makes you wonder, is this actually the end? Or is it just the end of the beginning for Dune on the big screen?